like that new intro.
Yeah, it's nice, huh?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to show number 2 of the day. NorCal Sports Network.
Yeah, number 2.
Number 2. And speaking of number 2, the Giants have been playing a lot like number 2, right?
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, Giants have been playing like a big number 2 this last 6 games. Let's give them a little vegan. Giants need some, maybe get some, eat some vegan in there. Huh? Hey, all right, everybody. Giants, tonight's show, we are going to be discussing what can the Giants do. What's the title of our show again tonight? What can the Giants do or something like that?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
All
is
right.
there anything? Well, the question mark is, yeah, can they?
What can the Giants do? All right. Well, there's a lot that they can do, but the question is, does Farhan have the gonads to do it? As we see Los warming up, he's all right. This is yeah. So there's a couple things they can do. They first got to decide, number one, what is the approach or the philosophy? Are they trying to win it all this year? Because if you're just trying to make the playoffs, if you're just trying to make the stinking playoffs with this roster, you're not going anywhere. You're going down. You might squeeze in because it's been a pretty rough year for a lot of teams, but you're going down. You're not getting anywhere with this pitching staff, the starting pitching, and the weak anemic hitting. But if you're trying to get into the World Series this year and win it all, then you would be willing to make some big trades that would give you some, some toughness, some rock'em sock'em in the lineup, especially from the right side. Guys like either Goldschmidt or Arenado, and you're going to have to give up a lot to do that. And if you want to get Bellinger, you don't want to have to give as much because he's a rental. But if you're looking to do that, then, you're taking a shot at blowing up what you've been building for 5 years since Farhan got here. And if you're wrong and you don't win it and you don't get to the promised land and you give up top prospects, you're back to where you were in 2017, 26. I mean, the Giants haven't had a real prospect that plays every day
in a long time.
I mean, the last one that was an all-star was Joe Panic, I believe. He came up in like 13. Okay, and then before that, you had Crawford and Pablo and Buster and Belt. So you had a nucleus. They haven't had that. Bailey and Matos are, probably their two closest that look potentially like a good career. But if you're going to step backwards and get rid of all that farm, then you could be in big trouble. So anyway, they got to decide which direction they want to go. And I know what your feeling is, Los. It's sell. So Los, you missed our 1:30 showing today. It was surprising. We had quite a few in the chat. We did almost 60-ish or better. So what do you got? What do you think, Los? What can the Giants do to salvage this year and thread the needle, so to speak, get themselves in a position to be in the playoffs and not sacrifice the future?
So only the OGs in this group are going to understand about what I'm about to say. We basically went from 1986, you got to love these kids, to 2023, you got to hate these vets. We went from hum baby Roger Craig to dumb baby Gabe Kapler. That's where we're at. What can we do to salvage the season? Nothing. Sell. Sell. Just sell and get some prospects. Follow the Astros script. I have been saying that, and I am not doing this and jumping on the bandwagon because they've been losing. I have been saying this since they were 13 games over 500. Anybody that's been loyal to this chat knows that. I have been saying sell because this team has been a facade. It is not what it claims to be. And they could pull off a trade. They could go get Giolito. They could get Jonathan India, I'm hearing, is the new name now. He's a middle infielder. But you got to remember, he hits in Cincinnati in a little bandbox stadium. He's going to come here in San Francisco. You think he's going to put up numbers like that? No. So
nobody does. Scooter Gannett hit 4 home runs in a game in Cincinnati and came here and didn't do squat.
Nobody does. And I'm going to call myself out because I was really on board with Farhan. I thought he was a smart guy. I thought he had, with the success with the A's and the talent that he got, even though ownership couldn't sign players long term, that he was good at evaluating talent, or the guys working underneath him were. Then he goes to the Dodgers and he gets more talent. He builds up the system there. I was not a big Bobby Evans fan because Bobby Evans, the GM, did exactly what I don't like, which is always thinking they can win the World Series in a year and always trading our best prospects, always playing for the now, never saving. So I really was on the Farhan bandwagon thinking that he was better than he really was. So I'll call myself out. That was a mistake in judgment.
I think a lot of people.
Yeah, go ahead, Eric.
People that were happy about signing Farhan in the beginning, but the further it's gone along, I think the more it's kind of been buyer's remorse a little bit. But I mean, it's not all bad as far as the farm is doing something. It's doing something. I mean, there's no guarantee, of course, on the farm, but every other aspect, though, it just seems a failure. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
And I know the argument about prospects that a lot of them don't hit. I get it. It's a valid, debatable point. But the more you get, some of them have got to hit.
Right.
I mean, other organizations have young talent and they hit. This is why you have to draft well. I mean, I've been born and raised in the city since the late 60s, grew up in the 70s and 80s. I've seen all the dynasties of the Bay Area. You know what all the dynasties in the Bay Area have in common? Their main talent were drafted players. They were not, hey, let's trade for this guy or get this free agent and make a difference. Their core were always draftable. Montana, Lott, Rice, Eric Wright, Carlton Williamson, Roger Craig, go down the line, Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, all draftable. The Giants, Matt Cain. I can go on and on and on. Their draft, when they hit, is how they win not only one title, multiple titles. Too many of you in this chat are just trying to do whatever you can to just get this one title. And it's a long shot at that, even if you get a decent player, because this team has too many damn holes.
Yes, it does.
To be a serious contender.
Yeah, you could look at the Dodgers of 21. They were, they got Max Scherzer and Trey Turner at the deadline. They had, no holes really
right
anywhere, and they didn't get it done.
Right.
It's tough to win a World Series.
Yes.
Tougher now than it was back in the 60s when there was fewer teams and you went straight. Hey, I got news for some of you guys that were not even around in the 60s. Back in the 60s, there was 12 teams in the National League, 10 or 12, and same in the American. And whoever won the division, you went right to the World Series.
World Series. Yep.
There was no playoffs.
Playoffs?
Playoffs. Yeah, no playoffs. Just straight to the World Series.
Yeah.
So now you got to go through 3. I mean, back when the Giants made their first World Series after the 60s was 1989 against the A's. They just had to beat the National League East, the Cubs. That was it. There was no, round one. Now, unless you are one of the top 2 seeds, you got to win 3 rounds.
Yep.
And 3 series. And it isn't easy. So, your best bet is building like the Astros and what the Orioles are doing now, because how many times have the Astros been to the ALCS in a row? 6? Something like that.
Give or take. They're always one of the top 4 teams in baseball.
But they also not only did they bring up their own guys, but they signed some key free agents.
First,
Beltran.
But first
they built it. Yes,
they built it. You build it, and they'll come. Okay?
Yes, correct.
If you build it, they'll come. You want to attract a superstar, you better build it first, because
right.
That's the recipe. You can build it, and then you plug your holes where you need it, because you need vets. You need vets, guys like Conforto, and Peterson's a big vet. Maybe he's starting to pick it up. This road trip, he raised his average over 15 points. He was down at 230s. He's up 247 now. Jock's starting to hit, hopefully, and Flores has been on a roll. You get Conforto. Crawford comes back Friday against Boston off the IL. Don't know how that's going to work. They probably should not play him 3 games in a row the rest of the season. It just and don't play him on day games after night games. Give that knee a chance to get some rest. We don't know. There's some talk out there of a lot of different guys rumbling, but I'll tell you this: I don't get all worked up with rumors unless I hear Jeff Passan talking about it.
Oh yeah.
Or
it's interesting to hear the talk, though. It's just interesting to hear the talk.
Yeah, it's every year though.
Yeah.
And it rarely comes to fruition that the teams they recommend. I heard they're interested. Well, yeah, of course, everybody wants Giolito. He's a free agent, and you're not going to cost as much. I'm hearing Giolito's tied to the Dodgers. Oh, he's tied to the Diamondbacks. He's tied to about 15 teams. Okay, you're just. It's just people making all this stuff up. So,
and for everybody in the chat thinking that they can get Giolito or Paxton or Jordan Montgomery, and that it's not going to cost any one of our big prospects. You don't think other teams in contention want those guys too? Mm-hmm. You don't think that they're going to start offering, and whoever that team is on the other side is going to just sit back with their legs up on a desk because they're selling and take the highest offer and take the best prospect package. So you think the Giants are just going to say, hey, you can take Bednar and give us Montgomery. No, other teams with deeper farm systems are going to offer more, which means what are the Giants going to have to do? Offer more, which means your good prospects that nobody wants to get rid of. See you later. So that's the reality of when you're a buyer at the deadline. It's hard to take the Giants serious, guys, when you got a 149 hitter and a 180 hitter in the lineup. And anybody that says, well, that's all they got, bullshit. You can bring up Luciano and send Villar's ass down. Try something new. When something's not working, damn it, you try something new. Not the Giants. Let's just keep Villar going down until he's hitting bingo. 072, 072, 078. Bingo. Let's keep Villar in the lineup every game. He'll eventually come out of it. That's right, Robert.
It is pretty interesting. Yeah. David VR is hitting 145. Schmidt is under 100 for his last 60 at bats. Wisely's hitting, I don't even know. We didn't see him today. I fully expect transactions coming into tomorrow night's game. I wish I had a way to find out if Luciano is on the flight that probably left an hour or so ago.
You know anyone in Albuquerque?
Anybody in Albuquerque? Any Marco Luciano spottings? Because
paging Marco Luciano.
Yeah, go down to Albuquerque.
Get those airline connections so you can find out if he's on the flight.
Yeah,
that's
funny. Because if I just think it'd be full. I think you should have sent VR straight to Albuquerque from Detroit, and have Luciano stay at home, have Ramos stay at home. Like Los, you just said, you got to shake something up. Why not? Hey, I got an idea. Why not go with the number 1 draft picks that are athletic and have power and have tools instead of playing the slow guys that are your 10th, 12th, 20th round draft picks that are struggling. I'm not saying 10th and 20th round draft picks can't be great players. They can. It happens. But they're not showing it. So why would you continue to go with that when you need a jolt? This team needs a major jolt in the worst way. And I put it out there today. Either make a big trade, and this guy maybe doesn't even get there for tomorrow night's game, but a big trade where there's stirring and energy, or bring up Luciano, which brings a ton of energy because we've been waiting for him for 5 years. And
you want to talk about a jolt? Did you see what De La Cruz did in Milwaukee?
Yeah, I saw that bomb.
456-foot bomb. That thing went over the damn sign out there. Did you see that?
And I saw the throw he made on a double play.
That's a jolt.
Dude, and where did Ellie come up from?
Isn't he from
Dominican?
Yeah, I think so.
No,
right?
What level did he come up from?
Double A. Straight from Double A.
Just skip Triple A.
He skipped Triple A.
Yep.
Oh, not the Giants though. We got to go one step at a time because we're in no rush.
Here's my prediction. I hope I'm right. I hope I'm right that Luciano's up tomorrow night, and then Von Brown gets called up to Sacramento, and they just start moving guys. Cameron, Dan is the GM, meets the guy at the gate and says, "Oh, you're not on this flight. Your flight is that Southwest flight with 2 layovers." Think about your approach during that time. Speaking of approach, I want to show you guys something. I showed it this afternoon. We'll show it again right now. I want you to watch very closely at David VR.
I don't know, Robert.
I'm gonna demonstrate it first. Let me put my. So I get okay. Get my chair out of the way. VR has a perfect pitch to step toward the ball, toward right field, and just go with it. And literally, if he would have done that, he could have hit a rocket into somewhere into right field, right center, just drove it. But what he does is he opens up, his front foot steps big, and he opens his body up, and he's reaching, and he swings over it and grounds a weak ball to. Okay, just watch his hips. Watch his hips open up. First, his front leg. Timing's way off. He steps toward it. Look at that. Step toward it, but he opens up. Look, reach across the body. Look at that. Let's play it one more.
You were muted during that whole part there, Dan.
Was I really? I thought I had unmuted it. All right.
So as far as Villar goes, I'm just going to take a wild stab at it about why he's struggling so bad. And this kind of goes to the question I asked Ned Colletti a few weeks ago. Villar hit about I want to say 35 to 37 homers last year between the minors and the major league level.
Mm-hmm.
He's homer. He's homer happy. He is trying to hit everything out of the ballpark. That video is a perfect example. That is a very simple way to go the opposite field. And you know what's happening? They may not have the shift on anymore, but guys, I watch a lot of games, as do you. Right-handed hitters that have any kind of power at all, that second baseman is basically behind the back. He might not be on the left side of the infield, quote unquote, because that's the rule, but he's behind second base. If you got to have a runner on at first, do you know how wide open the right side of the infield?
Hit behind the hitter, exactly, because right field's wide open.
But today's hitters,
they do
not want to do what's best for the team, what's best for the game, what sure as hell's best for their batting average. What do they want to do? Like I asked Ned, is everybody trying to hit a homer to get a big contract? Yes, Carlos, there's a lot of validity in what you're saying, a lot of power. I believe me, I watched that. I mean, and that's a man that knows more than all of us put together. So that's a big reason why Villar and a lot of hitters in the major leagues are hitting 210, 180, 227. Oh, but I got a lot of power, because today's GMs are giving big contracts no matter what your batting average or what your RBIs look like. So that's the sad part of it. But Villar, he's lost at the plate.
Will, I brought that up earlier today, talking about maybe Dubon was right, because look what Dubon is doing in Houston, Los. We brought this up earlier. He's batting like 346. He's playing really well. Maybe what he said about the Giants earlier this year is right. I mean, they try to temper it down and blah blah blah, whatever. But maybe
it's becoming more and more obvious, guys, that the Giants coaching staff, their coaching staff. We talked about Stripling and then messing with his changeup and how he grips the ball and how he throws when what he was doing was working in Toronto. Who knows what they're doing with hitters, but I think we've all heard that the Giants teach a philosophy: get a pitch in a certain zone and swing as hard as you can at it. And that's why they put up some numbers on home runs. But they don't teach, especially with two strikes, hey, man, choke up. Don't look for any pitch. If it's close, swing at it, especially with guys in scoring position.
You know what? I just thought about this, and this is to Dan's point, and also what you're saying, Los.
Yeah.
You got a manager, a baseball manager, who's supposed to be managing a team, right? Helping these young guys out, or even the veterans, if they're got some issues, you're there to help the team succeed. I don't give a shit about what the hell you're eating. Dan, you brought this up earlier. I think it was yesterday. Who gives a shit about your food reviews? What are you doing to help this team right now? Right. Obviously, they're struggling.
Right.
A baseball manager and not a damn food critic. I don't give a shit about it. I don't think any baseball fan cares about what you're doing on your personal time. That's fine. Do whatever you want to do. But when you're in charge of managing 26 men in a playoffs or in a baseball season, trying to get to the playoffs, but it just drives me insane. It's come on, dude, be a manager. Don't rely on your 30 fucking coaches that you have in the dugout. How about you step up and be a damn manager?
That's right. Hey, Red L, that's on point. I love it. Dave Kingman would fit right in today's baseball. Hey, Dan, do you ever remember 30 years ago, 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, a guy hitting 149 being on a roster? 149.
You muted.
You're muted.
No, I don't. I mean, Johnny LeMaster was pretty bad, but he was in the 200s, and the Giants fans just ate him alive.
Johnny be number 2 hitter in today's lineup, right?
Oh man, he might even be their cleanup hitter. The way
he was a hell of a glove, but
yeah.
He couldn't hit. He was like 210, 220, which is average for today. Oh, Giants fans used to kill that dude.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, these guys. This lineup, when you have Patrick Bailey, who's not a great hitter from the right side, as your cleanup hitter, that tells you that you don't have much. JD Davis in the 3-hole, striking out constantly. I would try and package Davis right now. I'd package Davis.
This organization ain't going to do that.
No,
I mean, we understand what needs to be done, but I just have no faith in them even contemplating that.
Dan, I was with you from just watching the game eye perspective about Bailey, and then I looked him up. He's actually hitting about 315 from the right side and about 240 from the left side.
Yeah, granted, he doesn't. It's limited.
It's a lot fewer at bats,
and he doesn't have the power. He doesn't have. He's hit one or two homers right-handed, but that was early on. His history is they've talked about him even giving up batting from the right side and just becoming a lefty. It's
he'll be platooned again if he does that.
Well, he should just be a guy that bats, plays pretty much 5 days a week, 5 to 6. I mean, he needs 1 day off at least a week. Joey Bart the other night, was it Sunday night's game? He ended the game throwing out a guy trying to steal second, threw a bullet right down perfect. Joey Bart's a guy that is, I'm still relatively high on him in the fact that it's hard to find good catching. Look at San Diego. I mean, they're having to go with Gary Sanchez, who's not a good catcher at all, behind the plate. He's got some pop, but San Diego's looking for a catcher. Other teams need catchers. This team just doesn't have, they're missing Estrada and Crawford. And I think what they've figured out is that they really need a reliable shortstop. I think they're realizing they may not be able to count on Crawford to be ready, to be fully ready to go with that knee. If this knee's the same knee, which it is, that he hurt last year sliding, I think, into home, and it didn't get better during 4 months of rest between October and February. That's 5 months.
And he had 4 days off during the All-Star break.
Yeah. If it didn't get better then, and it's acted up 2 or 3 times this year, started in spring training, then he was out earlier with it, and now he's out again. That tells me you better get yourself a shortstop that can be ready to play every day. That's not just a fill-in, not no Dixon Machado type,
Wouldn't you think that would be all the reason in the world to call up Luciano?
Absolutely. He should be up tomorrow.
He's your number one prospect. Well, number 2 behind Harrison, I think now. It's a need, and it's a player that has upside, and he's young. So, it's a no-brainer. But for some reason, maybe they have him in a trade package, guys, and that's why they won't bring him up. I don't know. But
yeah, or they may bring him up. Yeah, I don't know. I think
that's interesting.
It's not like Casey. It's not like Casey Schmidt's playing short and he's hitting 320 and playing a Gold Glove, and it's like, well, we can't bring up Luciano. Schmidt's just playing too well. No, there's nobody at short playing well, or our main guy is hurt. Yeah. It's like the perfect antidote to bring him up. And yet,
if you think somebody likes your prospects and you don't think that they're gonna be as special as most people think, then you're better off. If you thought Luciano was gonna struggle, but everybody else said he's a phenom, you might want to consider trading him. The same with Harrison. If Keith Law this is true, he's moved him dropped him all the way to 40 from the 20th in baseball prospect. Who knows if that means anything? Part of it could be that just Harrison has not really pitched a lot of innings this year. He's basically going 4 innings an outing, and maybe he feels he hasn't progressed as much as he should have. I don't know.
So imagine how this phone call goes. The White Sox GM and Farhan, and this is why not bringing guys up also is hurting because it's hurting their value, their trade value. So imagine the White Sox GM goes, hey, Farhan, I hear you want Luis Robert and Giolito, and you're offering Joey Bart and Luciano. He's like, yeah, Luciano's our top prospect. And the White Sox GM goes, if he's your top prospect and he's so good, why haven't you called him up? You have a need at shortstop. Why haven't you called him up? You're keeping him down. He must not be that good. Why don't you throw in 2 more prospects? Because you didn't bring him up, you've just lowered his stock, which means, again, like I said earlier, you have to give more prospects up to get any guys because the Giants don't really believe.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how Farhan thinks.
None of us do.
I can only tell you how I'm thinking is that if I'm talking to GMs on a daily basis and I know what's out there and I know I have a need, I promote Luciano a week and a half ago to AAA. I get him 4 or 5 games, get him feeling, level at AAA. And then I bring him up tomorrow and I've got 6 days to showcase him. And if he rakes, all the better. But that answers that question, Los. But I don't know what he's thinking. I would bring him up tomorrow. You don't have a shortstop right now. You have Casey Schmidt, who's a very good shortstop defensively, but he's doing nothing for you at the plate. You have so that would be, something that they could do. That's what I would be doing. It doesn't have to be a permanent move all year if you don't trade him. It could be just until you get reinforcements back. But they need help right now. And looks like we lost Los.
Yeah, it looks like we lost Los.
I'm sure he'll be back shortly.
I'm telling you, this is going to be these next couple of series are going to be really interesting to see what the Giants do. It's going to be the same lineup. And like you said, unless they start calling up some of these guys, but if they keep rolling out the same lineup that they were doing in Washington and here that game in Detroit, then it's going to make for some long series. Especially the Red Sox after the A's? That's not going to be easy.
No, Red Sox
because they're in a hunt. They're going to be the Red Sox. They're trying to stay in the AL East, so they're going to be, giving everything they got for that. And the Giants will just be. See, this is the issue now. Now the Giants are going to be pressing. They know they got to do something. So the at bats get a little bit more stressful. The pitchers think they gotta aim a little bit more, and it really can snowball.
That's a good point. They're going to be holding on to those bats a little bit tight with the expectations they got to beat the A's. It's like, okay, we just lost to the Washington and we lost to Detroit. Like the A's are the bottom of the bottom. If they can't beat them, even if it's 2 games, wow, that's going to be a big eye opener. But you know what'll happen the other way is if they sweep the A's, then the Robert Rothbergs and
it could happen.
They're all gonna be screaming around like the little girls. Oh, we're back! Oh my God, we're a contender again. We just smoked the Oakland A's. Oh, gee, we're so happy.
Oh, Pirates whipping on the Padres tonight.
Yeah, big time.
8-3. Cardinals.
I'm keeping an eye on that's
Cardinals beating the Diamondbacks 5-3. Dodgers lead the Blue Jays 2-0 in the top of the 5th. Giants will be 5 out after tonight. Orioles did beat the Phillies, so Giants are getting breaks right now. They're
they
are.
Which is making it more misleading. That's
right? Exactly.
God.
I'm watching the game right now. The Diamondbacks have got the bases loaded with Perdomo up.
I really don't want to pull for the Giants to lose. I really don't. But, man, if they win, they're going to still think that they're a contender.
That's the issue I have, too, is this false hope that they think what they're doing works all the time. And it doesn't. That's the problem. It doesn't work. You're going to win some games. I'm not saying that you're not going to win games. But I think the system in general, there's something that has to be tweaked.
So this is one thing that drives me crazy. And you guys have heard it in here. I've heard it outside of here. I've seen it everywhere in verbal discussions at the gym, on Zoom, on Twitter. The Giants never sell. And
no, they don't.
And I just want to just talk about that just for a minute. Why? I think every organization in baseball at one point or another has said, we don't have it. We got some valuable veteran commodities. Let's rebuild at one time or another. What is it about the San Francisco Giants that has them this entitlement that they cannot sell, that they refuse to do it? Whether it's Farhan, whether it's Bobby Evans, whether it's Brian Sabian, whether it's every GM you can name of. I cannot remember. And me and Dan go back as far as Giants baseball goes when they just said, hey, you know what? Here's some vets. Let's get some prospects. What is it about
You know what's funny? Even Ned said the very same thing. You remember? He says he's never been in he couldn't answer Dan's question as far as being a seller because he's never sold. Right. He's always been a buyer. So he couldn't even answer that question.
But he answered it, but he really didn't answer it. And he probably can't, because he's got relationships with these people. But what is the reason why you don't sell? It's different ownership. They can't say, well, these owners don't like that. I mean, we're going back to different owners. None of them would want to sell. Is it ticket sales? Well, if we trade some veterans and throw the white flag up, our attendance is going to drop. Hey, I got news for you, man. Your attendance already dropped this year. And your freaking your home stadium is free and clear. So if you're thinking about from the financial point of view, like that's just stupid. The fan base would go crazy if you got some prospects in here looking forward.
There you go. Right here.
They would go crazy.
Yeah, I was just popping that one up. Yep.
Look at that. That's the issue right there.
Yeah.
Eric getting fired up. Man. My ears are blowing off.
Well, then Larry, then somebody needs to, and this is another thing. Have you guys gone to a baseball game on the East Coast?
Yes.
Okay, Dan, you know that the East Coast, the fans and the media are a whole different ball game than the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first time I went to Fenway, I told my buddy, God damn, look at everybody. And he's like, what? Nobody's on their phone. Everybody's like this.
Yeah.
On the edge of their seat watching the game.
Yeah.
We had women behind us that knew how to keep scorebook.
No stupid wave.
Yeah. No, they're watching the game. So
and you're talking East
Coast
media? not Pittsburgh, not Cincinnati. We're talking Boston, New York, Philly. Yeah. That corridor.
They would eat Farhan and Gabe up alive.
Oh, yes.
Crap.
Oh, my
goodness. They
goodness.
would be like, what the fuck are you doing putting Villar in the lineup at 149 average? Nobody in our media asks those dumb questions. They want to ask Gabe if he's had kale or spinach today. Fuck that. Hey, what's your workout? What's your workout like today, Gabe? We really kind of I'm trying to work abs and I'm trying to work shoulders. What's your workout today? Come on, media. I'm calling you all out. Like, ask some real questions, please. The East Coast media would eat these guys alive for all the stupidity that they do. And you're right for putting that up. Larry Bear is one of the problems in the front office. We owe it to the fans. Yeah, you owe it to the fans to be like
to rebuild,
a legitimate contender. Sell,
to rebuild. He doesn't believe in the word rebuilding. Look what the damn these other teams that are beating you doing. They're rebuilding.
Yep. But management will never get rid of Larry Bear. They won't get rid of Farhan. They probably won't get rid of Kapler. So we're stuck with them. As long as those guys are there, this organization is going to keep doing what they're doing. They'll be buyers. Trust me, in the next few days, they're going to buy somebody. Trade for somebody. We'll see which prospect they give up.
Hey, guys, check the PC there. If up there in the chat there.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. Los, you see that?
Yeah.
You good with that or?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. All right. So, all right, guys. So we're going to go a couple more minutes and then we're going to hop on over to Larry Krueger's show, the Krug Show. Why don't you type that in, Eric? The Krug Show. Let me first of all, hold on here. Let me just.
You just want me to type in what it is?
Yeah, the Krug Show. We'll join there at 8:30. We're gonna hold on here. Hold on.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Kapler did get eaten alive in Philly. Yep.
Yeah.
That's why they fired him. That's why they fired him. He lasted 2 years.
That's why Kapler loves it here. Like he can make as many mistakes as possible, and he won't get called out. Hey, winning 107 games bought him a lot of time. Bought him. It did.
You mean what Posey did, right? Let's get it right.
Yeah. I'm ready to talk wrestling, man.
Yeah, no kidding. Damn. Woo!
Dig it.
Can you dig it? Hey, Chico. You know what? I was watching. They had a little A&E clip on YouTube. They're talking about I didn't get a chance to finish it, but it was Goldberg versus Hulk Hogan in the Georgia Dome. Goldberg had some badass. He had some badass entrance music. I like that. That epic.
When he won the belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. He put him over.
Yep.
Real early.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, we could talk that one of these Wrestling Wednesdays. We could talk about best entrance music for sure.
So, guys, we're going to go shortly over to Larry's channel. I want everybody to follow us over there because we're going to have some interesting discussion tonight. The actual chat on this is titled San Francisco Giants Trade Deadline Preview Show.
Playoffs?
Okay, Ford Proctor has been released. Okay, according MF finds all these breaking news. Ford Proctor has been released. That may be just a fact that they're opening a roster spot for Fitzgerald, possibly Fitzgerald.
Is Ford Proctor on the 40-man?
Yes.
Oh.
Ford Proctor has been on the 40. Let me see here. Roster. Let me double check and make sure. I thought he was. Is he still on there? I thought he was on there. Maybe he wasn't.
I don't think he was. I think he was he was minor league depth.
Yeah, I don't think he was on the 40-man roster.
We got a whole. What is all going on here?
Transactions.
The Ford Proctor era has officially ended. Lionel Reyes. Wow.
That's my boy.
I love it. Exactly. Wow. They got rid of Ford Proctor. Who the fuck is Ford Proctor? Oh, man.
All right, everybody. We're going to end it right here. Everybody go over to the Krug Show. Did we put that in the chat there?
I just said the Krug Show. That's all I put in there.
Okay. Krug Show on YouTube. San Francisco Giants trade deadline. You'll see me and Larry and Sean Proctor, Eric, and Los.
Woo!
All three of us will be over there. So we're going to get this thing going, and it should be fun. Get your trade proposals going. See what we come up with.
Get your sell proposals going.
Yeah.
The few of you that agree with me, get your sell cards in. Sell.
Let's see if we can get this piece of doo-doo off the scrap heap.
500 or bust. Woo!
All right, everybody. Heading over to the Krug Show. We shall see you later. Arrivederci.